Have you ever really thought about what stops someone from just plugging their laptop into any open network jack in your office and getting access to, well, everything? It's not your firewall, it's not your password. Nope. It's an unseen guardian, and today we're going to pull back the curtain on this absolute unsung hero of network security. Look, we all know your firewall is supposed to protect you from the wild west of the internet, right? But what about the threats that are already inside your castle walls? What happens when the call is coming from inside the house? What is your first line of defense when the danger is already plugged right in? Believe it or not, it's this little unassuming box, the network switch. Yeah, you've probably seen them blinking away in a server closet somewhere. They're basically the traffic cops of your network, but they're also the gatekeepers. And they have a secret weapon we need to talk about. So here's the scary part. The attacks that target these switches, they're some of the easiest for a hacker to pull off. We're talking about what's known as Layer 2 attacks, and they are pretty much the digital equivalent of a skeleton key. You know, one of the most devastating is the MAC address table attack. So think of the switch like a super meticulous receptionist with a perfect directory of who sits where. Now, imagine an attacker just bombarding that receptionist with thousands and thousands of fake names. The receptionist just panics, the directory becomes totally useless, and in all the chaos, they just start shouting everyone's private conversations out into the hallway for literally everyone to hear. So how do you stop your network's receptionist from having a complete and total meltdown? Well, the answer is surprisingly simple, yet incredibly powerful. It's a feature called port security, and this is the secret weapon I was talking about. The best way to think about port security is like putting a bouncer at every single door to your network. Seriously, they've got a guest list, and if your name's not on it, you're just not getting in. Simple as that. Okay, so how do you put this bouncer to work? It's really just a simple two-step dance. First, you have to tell the door it's a VIP entrance only. That's called access mode. And this is crucial because it tells the port it's connecting to one specific device, not another switch. Then, and only then, do you post your bouncer. But if you get that order wrong, you're going to be in for a surprise. And here's exactly what happens if you mess up that dance. See? If you try to put a bouncer on a door that can't decide if it's an entrance or an exit, the switch will just say, nope, command rejected. It's a simple mistake, but man, is it a critical one. So once you've got your bouncer in place, here are the default house rules. See this line right here? Maximum MAC addresses is 1. That means only one person is on the guest list for this door. And check this out. Violation mode is set to shut down. So if a party crasher shows up, the bouncer doesn't just throw them out. Oh no. They lock the doors, turn off all the lights, and end the party completely. But you know, a full shutdown seems a little intense, right? What if you don't want to end the entire party just because of one uninvited guest? Are there other options for our bouncer? You bet there are. You've actually got 3 different playbooks for your bouncer. Shutdown is that nuclear option we just talked about. Restrict is a bit more surgical. The bouncer blocks the intruder and then radios for backup by sending an alert to the admin. And then you've got Protect, which is basically the silent treatment. The bouncer just quietly ignores the intruder. No drama, no fuss. And right here is how you, as the administrator, can change that playbook. With just one simple command, you can tell your bouncer, hey, let's not go nuclear, okay? Just keep the riffraff out and give me a heads up when you do. And here is the log to prove it. This is basically the switch's black box, and it tells a crystal clear story. A security violation was detected, and the port was put into an error-disabled state. Bam, just like we told it to. That is your digital guardian angel in action, right there. Now, before we get too comfortable, it's really important to remember that port security, as powerful as it is just one line of defense. Think of it like the guards at the front gate of your castle. They are absolutely essential, but a clever enemy is always going to look for other ways to get in. Take the VLAN hopping attack, for example. This is where an attacker tricks the switch into thinking their computer is another switch. And what that does is it gives them a master key to all the different virtual networks in your organization. All of a sudden, they're just strolling through the accounting department's files like they own the place. Then you've got something called the DHCP starvation attack. This is more of a brute force thing, where an attacker's computer asks for all the available network addresses, basically hoarding them all for itself. And the result? When you try to connect to the Wi-Fi, there are no addresses left for you, and you're just left out in the cold. So what are the key takeaways from all this? First, and this is huge, don't forget about the physical layer. Your network security really does start with the hardware. Second, put port security to work. It is your bouncer, your first line of defense against these kinds of internal threats. And look, if you do nothing else, at least shut down the ports you're not using. And finally, just remember that security is a team sport. Port security is your star player, for sure, but it can't win the game all on its own.
So I'll just leave you with this thought. You've locked your front door, but have you checked all the windows? In a world full of sophisticated cyber threats, is your network's weakest link hiding in plain sight?